You know, every now and again, we think y'all like to hear something from us that's nice and easy. But y'all know Signature don't do nothing nice and easy. We do it rough. And that's the way we're about to do Proud Mary.
Job in the city, we were working for the man every night and day, and I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, worried about the way things might have been. Oh, big wheel, keep on turning.
Working for the man every night and day,
and I never lost a minute of sleeping,
worried about the way things might have been.
Big wheel keep on turning, Proud Mary keep on burning,
and rolling,
rolling, rolling, yeah, rolling on the river, yeah, we're rolling, yeah, rolling, we're rolling on the river. Oh, get up, get up, get up.
Well, I cleaned a lot of plates down in Memphis, and I pumped a lot of tank down in New Orleans, but I never saw the good side of the city till I hitched a ride on the riverboat Queen. Big wheel keep on turning, Proud Mary keep on burning, and we're rolling,
rolling, rolling, yeah,
rolling on the river,
yeah, we're rolling, yeah, rolling, we're rolling on the river. Oh, get up, get up.
Elevation. Probably should have gotten some chairs to put that down on the corner.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's session, part of Sing September, an evening with Signature. We have just enjoyed their cover of Proud Mary, which was a fantastic start to the evening. I'm Alan Hughes.
And I'm Shanna Wells, and we are both delighted to get to have a chat with this amazing quartet tonight.
Before we start, we'd just like to encourage everyone to get involved and interact with us and ask questions. You can post questions on the YouTube live stream or chat and comment on the Facebook link too, and we will do our very best to pose them to the guys.
To briefly introduce the group, Signature is based out of South Florida and is passionate about singing music that inspires them. All 4 members of the quartet started their barbershop journey in youth outreach programs hosted by chapters of the Barbershop Harmony Society in America and have been in many different barbershop ensembles, including choruses and quartets since their early teenage years. Signature Quartet have been together since September 2013. They are the 2015 Sunshine District champions and have gone on to represent the Sunshine District at the International Quartet Contest. In 2019, became the BHS International Quartet Champions. It is so great to have you all with us this evening, guys.
Hey, hi there.
What's going on?
That was a dramatic entrance from us. You saw that?
But we're so excited to join you tonight, guys. We can't tell you enough, and thank you again on behalf of all of BABS for being here with us tonight and taking time out of your day. We're going to start by getting to know you all a little better as individuals, and we're going to start with our wonderful bass singer, Mr. Dan Waltz. Now, Signature are proud members of the Sunshine District. However, Dan, you come from much further north in Minnesota and then later South Carolina. So tell us more about your barbershop journey. How did you come to be a barbershopper based down in sunny Florida?
Well, I started because I sang in a community chorus when I was in high school and did a show. And this guy came up to me, he was like, "Have you ever sang barbershop?" And I was like, "No, never heard of it. Really, I've seen it in movies, that's it." And so eventually just started joining part of that chapter, sang a bunch of quartets. And I was asked by a friend of mine to sing in HD Youth Chorus in South Florida for a youth contest. And that's how I met all these guys.
Fantastic.
I don't know what it sounds like over there, but for me, behind all I hear is like resonance. It's really a lot.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's move on to our baritone, Will Rodriguez. One thing Dan didn't mention is how you two met singing in the quartet Half Ton Pickup, based out of South Carolina. Similar to that first question, can you describe your barbershop journey?
Sure. My barbershop journey started by hearing a quartet named, I don't know if they were called the Barrio Boys. What were you guys called back then? What were you guys called back then? Well, no, before Fahrenheit.
Rockefellers.
Oh, Rockefellers. So there was a young quartet out of South Miami High when I was still in middle school, who was singing with one of the guys that I was scouting with in sports all my life. And his name is Juan, and Juan and Paul were singing together. They were the first quartet I had heard. Then I heard a quartet named Autograph. And then I met a guy named Jim Cocroft and started to learn about the Suntones, following in his footsteps. And I became his man of note a couple years later, and the rest is history. I've been around since then. I'm an OG in this thing. It doesn't seem that way, but it feels that way, you know? Look at the white hair, you see? That's all this. That's this. Okay.
Okay, and that you've answered the next part of the question for me, which is moving on to Daniel and Paul. So I was looking up you guys, and obviously all living around South Florida, it seems you spent most of your formative years actually competing against each other in collegiate quartets rather than singing with each other. So yeah, that made me smile, and it's great obviously now that you're all singing together and not against each other, which is fun, and obviously that's led to a lot of success for you guys. So let's come to our lead singer, Mr. Daniel Cochran. Daniel, you've been singing barbershop for most of your life, I believe, but you've also sung for the Miami Dolphins, the Voices of Liberty based in Epcot, and I've toured with a group called the Ebony Corral. So how do all these different experiences feed into your singing of barbershop?
You know, it's funny. I think a lot of times music has a way of mixing itself up to begin with. So I love the fact that I get an opportunity to be a part of so many different things and different genres of music and types of music. So they all bring me to doing things like, musically that we've done, like Dance with My Father and other songs that we have, but bringing and crossing over music and, spirituals and everything. We haven't done the spiritual yet. We got Weight in the Water we tried to do.
Yeah, we have a few coming, yeah.
Yeah, but I just think the music, from each genre, I'm able to pull, or we're able to pull, and I know it's probably another place we're gonna go, but yeah.
Great. And last but certainly by no means least, we come to our tenor, Paul Sacker. Paul holds a degree in studio music and jazz performance and has worked as a studio musician as well as being a qualified music teacher. Paul is also a BHS Collegiate Quartet champion with his quartet Heat. So for a group who has much experience in the Collegiate Quartet contest, how does it feel to be the only one who has won the gold? How often do you bring that up?
Oh, geez.
I mean,
Lord.
I actually don't bring it up that much.
But he has it on deck.
And I'm glad you reminded me.
Whenever we get into an on deck as a card ready to play a trump card. Oh yeah, well, I won't go first. Boom, and he drops it. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing.
These questions, let me tell you.
This is hard hitting.
This is hard hitting. I love this. Let's go. Let's keep it going here.
Okay, so on a serious note, Paul, you are the most recent addition to the lineup, replacing Matt Clancy in 2018. It's fair to say that you settled in quickly. How much did you have to adapt to fit into the quartet so well?
There was a lot of rehearsal time put into the trio, getting familiar with each other. I had actually sung with Daniel in Fortissimo. I was a replacement after their original baritone stepped down. And
you sang tenor there, right?
I sang tenor and lead, but it was a transition with such a big, meaty sound like Signature is known for. So we really had to take some time to find that, but we put we were rehearsing 2-3 times a week.
Yeah,
like
just the
first
trio.
6 months, just to try and get that as comfortable as possible, so that, because we knew like musically we would feel things kind of the same way because of our origins and what we like to sing, but we just wanted to try and have that foundation as solid as possible. And that's how we were able to, I think, improve as quickly as we did. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I guess for you, Will, as well, you had to do some switching around. For those who didn't know, you were the original tenor and then moved to baritone. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So how was that for you?
Terrifying, man. It's a change, because singing tenor, I had been singing it long enough now that it felt comfortable. I didn't do a lot of thinking. We learned the song, we'd work the musical arc and the things we wanted to do, and then when I was on there, it was just singing from the heart and performing. You know what I mean? Because that's what we try to do, is just get it to the point where we can get off the paper and start to create musically. So it was a challenge having to do what I was normally accustomed to while also learning how to sing baritone, which I'm still doing every day, still making changes and working, but being able to work as a trio really helped, and having, some of the best baritones of all time coaching you and helping you work through things, it definitely helps.
Makes a difference.
It definitely does. Definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talent down in the Sunshine District, isn't there, that you can draw upon for coaching. We might come back to that later.
Good.
Yeah, so let's go back to the birth of Signature. Now, I know that 2 of you sang together in Half-Ton Pickup. Was that really the birthplace of Signature, or how did the quartet Signature come into existence?
Oh, you want to start? I'll take over.
No, go ahead. You tell a story better.
So I was, I'm a cancer survivor, like some of you would know, and I had just finished treatment and I was just kind of hanging out at home. I wasn't doing any singing. And a mutual friend of Dan and I's, Jeremy Conover, said, hey, our tenor just dropped. I know you're probably not doing any singing. You want to come and just hang out and sing? We're going to try to go for district, and no pressure. We'll just come and do some singing, whatever. So we got together, and then I heard this guy sing the first low note come out of him, and I stopped the music. I turned around. I thought there was a freight train or something outside, and I said, okay, well, let's do that again, because that obviously wasn't real. So let's do it again. And then he dropped something again, and it was just so effortless. And I heard this bass voice, and I said, no matter what happens with Halftime, if it's just a group of friends singing or whatever, you and me have to continue singing together. There's no way. I was like, when you hear him sing for the first time, I'm sure it's happened to everybody. You're just like, where does that come from? You know what I mean? So that's where we met. And then it kind of evolved into Signature after Halftime, right?
Yeah, it was a few years later, but
yeah. You were still living up north, I think.
I was in South Carolina. So yeah.
South Carolina. He moved down to South Florida. We started working together. We started singing together and trying to find the other members of the group. And Daniel didn't want to get together with us in the beginning. You know, we
Very true.
got mad, and it was the three of us, and we were just like, hey, you got to come sing with his bass, man. He's gonna free you up and let you sing openly and not have to restrict your voice, man. Come try him out. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm singing with the Dolphin Voices. I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I had stuff going on, that was the big reason why I was very reluctant to do it. But I was very. But
I'm just glad you gave in. Okay?
I am. I sang with Dan. And what did we do? What do I do?
We sang What Did I Do for the first time.
What did I do? And that was
I
it.
remember the first time you sang.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I was there.
You weren't there.
It kind of feels like everything just happened the way it was supposed to, right? Like nothing was ever forced. You know, like when the pieces kind of fell in, they happened when they were supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some times where we're just like, oh, well, what's next? You know, what do we do? Like when we chose our first songs, when we wanted to start to create musically, you know what I mean? But it was just kind of like, well, we'll do this because this feels right in the moment, and it just worked out, you know?
And something we did special is we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We just hung out. We played games. We rode jet skis. We went to the movies together and just hung
We
out.
broke
as
jet
friends.
skis.
We broke
We
jet
rode
skis.
them.
We definitely broke.
We definitely
Hey,
broke.
we got stuck on jet skis and
Yeah.
lost out.
We got stuck on a lake one time. I had to tow him out with another jet ski, and then we both fell off the jet ski while towing his jet ski, holding on to the back.
And we didn't realize there was a hook on the front to drag the jet ski. It was
Yeah, it was bad.
Absolutely.
It was bad.
horrible.
Yeah. Sorry, we digress. Next.
Okay. It's fair to say that organised youth activities have shaped you guys as individuals and therefore as a quartet. How important is it for us to encourage youth to participate in our hobby? And is there anything we can do more of? That's a big question, obviously met by silence.
That's like question number 3.
I said
you didn't even warm us up. You
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
bang.
The truth is, and I'll let everybody speak, but I will say this. Youth outreach is not only important, it's the reason why at least the 3 of us are here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Absolutely.
Dan has had a different journey. Obviously, he's been part of youth outreach and he's done a lot with us. So his journey has been vast also in it. But I will say that for us, youth outreach was a proponent of why we're here, but it wasn't even so much that. It was people within the genre like Gene Cocroft and even Alex Rubin later on, etc. People that were willing to let us be us and explore within the genre, right? And they weren't trying to fit us into a mold of what they thought we should be, for example. So we fell in love with the music because of the harmony and the tradition. And then we just said, okay, well, we want to be a part of this, but the only way we can do that is if we're ourselves. So I think it's not only speaking to the youth, but also letting them know that they can cultivate musically. And this is a forum where they can do that, and they're going to be accepted for who they are and how they want to create, right? I mean, want to jump in there?
I mean, I think that's a big component of having people like us want to be a part of this, this hobby is about making it more inviting and more inclusive in that way. Like, we come from different places. We all have different ways that we create music and present that message, but it's all for that same feeling, just to have that genuine connection. So I think, everybody has to be mindful of that as we continue to try and grow and bring more of that. We're going to have to be understanding, accepting of all this new styles of music and interpretation, things like that, without, pigeonholing, saying barbershop is just this.
Right. Right. It has to speak to all communities. I mean, if we really want to be able to attract, different races and different people to this, we have to be able to open up our ears to what barbershop really is. So, I just have to say, like, the only reason why I know about barbershop is because of my high school director, who was, he loved barbershop and he loved a cappella music itself. I mean, he introduced me to Bob Franklin, and Bob Franklin, which is the lead of the Suntones, took my quartet under his wings and showed us what barbershop was. And he also allowed us to be who we were as well.
Right. That's the most important component, I think, is that the people who are involved in that outreach, not trying to, again, pigeonhole and give a sense of what this has to be, because there's can be so many things. That for us, we had that experience 20, 25 years ago, thankfully. That I know. 10 years ago.
No.
So
It's true though.
Acceptance and I think that we give
you can tell this is a powerful, this is very
this is important to us. This is this is what we're about, you know, and there's a lot of quartets that are the same way. You know, there are a lot of our brothers and sisters in the society who not only come from youth and outreach, who are paying that forward, you know, and we need to be able to show representation also for the community. So the diversity that we show is also encompassing of them saying, hey, that person looks like me, maybe I could do this, for example. And then allowing them to create musically while also teaching the tradition. Those are the things I think we stand by, right? The balance, you know. We walk on the shoulders of the people that came before us and show the tradition and show the fellowship and how beautiful it can be, while also saying, hey, we're evolving and you can evolve here, and this is a safe place for you to do it, especially through your music, you know? So,
Awesome. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. You mentioned there a quartet called the Suntones, and for those people who are joining us who aren't aware of the Suntones, they are considered by many to be the greatest of all time. And they're from Miami, from right on your doorstep as well. Were they the 1967 international champions? Is that right?
61.
Oh, sorry, 1961. There you go. My bad. But yeah, they are considered, like I say, to be the greatest of, by many, to be the greatest of all time. And I know you guys particularly have an affinity with their tenor, Mr. Gene Cockcroft, who, again, he's considered to be the greatest tenor of all time by many people. I know you've dedicated your album to him. You dedicated one of your contest songs to him after he passed recently. Just how much of an impact and influence has Gene had on you guys as a quartet?
Astronomical. Yeah. He was, you know, he was the person that when he heard us said, you know, not only what did he think there was something special there, but he was a big proponent of why we started to do songs like Change Is Gonna Come and things of that sort. After conversations with him about the idea of inclusion, for example, and then talking to him about, you know, just kind of finding our identity and finding who we want to be and what we want to represent. And then, you know, he supported us in everything we did. You know, he did arrangements for us in that genre. He did Baby, I'ma Want You and other arrangements for us, for example. And he was just a big proponent of be who you are,
right?
Do what you do, but make sure that it's as good as possible, you know? So he emphasized, just because it was different and outside of his comfort zone, or not necessarily his comfort zone, because the guy was a musical genius, but just because it wasn't necessarily something in his wheelhouse that he's always working on, for example, he was always open,
right?
Always open to make it as good of a musical product as possible. And I think that's what helped us, man. You know?
I mean, I just think, you know, when they say Gene, greatest tenor of all time, he also may be one of the greatest contributors to the hobby as well, as far as like at that time, so many years ago, understanding, because where he lived was a cultural melting pot. I mean, you know, there isn't any one kind of any type of person. We're all just many colors and many different races. And Signature is the embodiment of his vision. Like, he's not here with us, but he's still living, not just in our memories, but in what we represent, what we're doing. Because that was, you know, even though I was a few years ahead as far as in the college contest and not with them from the beginning. One of the reasons that when you asked earlier, and I'll go back to this, how was I able to fit in, is because we've been a part of this, you know, for a long time, you know, and for quartets, you know, when you're like-minded in mind and spirit, so when everything is aligned, not just we're going to get together and try to make them, you know, we are one. We're just a unit in philosophy, in spirit, in everything. That's the difference, you know.
And even when we don't agree, we still come to an understanding of creating respect and respecting each other, while also giving us autonomy to be who we are in that same space. Right.
That's how great music is made, when you have that freedom, you have that trust and respect. Yeah. You know, it's part of the battle, anyway. So, but yeah,
I think it's wonderful that Gene was with you as well. And for those who don't know, again, the Suntones of their day in the 1960s, they completely changed the barbershop world for the better. They did new things. Their arrangements at the time were seen as really risque and out there and crazy. And yeah, so it's kind of great that you mentioned that, and you mentioned you're the kind of embodiment of what Gene wanted, and so that's really wonderful to hear, because certainly one of my favorite quartets, and I was lucky enough to meet Gene as well, and he's just an amazing man. So it's great to hear that as well. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have touched a little bit on this, but in our recent BABS Live broadcast, again, thank you very much for being part of that also. And also in the AIC online show, your powerful and moving video of Beyonce Knowles' song Listen was aired. It ended with the hashtag unity and harmony. Can you tell us more about your vision of unity and harmony and what those words mean to you?
I mean, you guys are like not pulling any
Yeah, I
questions.
mean-
I love it.
Questions ahead of time.
You know,
I mean, you want the raw, uncut answer.
Unity and harmony, for me, and I'll speak from my perspective, is the embodiment of inclusion within our genre that has no predetermined notion attached to it. I feel like there is a divisiveness when you talk about the phrase everyone in harmony, for example. Everybody either is all about it or not all about it because they don't like the way it was rolled out or don't think that the message is what they want, etc. There's a lot of divisiveness around us, surrounded it, in my opinion. And I think that when we thought of the idea for unity and harmony, it was like, well, we want to say something similar, but we want to say it from our perspective. And that's why, you know, although the video is very strong and very poignant, it leads towards unity, it leads towards love, it leads towards compassion and unity. And that's what it was, unity and harmony through our music. That's what all we can do is be us, sing our music, sing and be authentic artists and pay homage to the original. And we can't do that if it's, for example, if it's under the idea of what we do is not accepted, right? So unity and inclusion has to be at the forefront of everything, especially for what we do. So we're very careful on what the message is, even though sometimes it's strong. It's to get to the idea of this is about bringing everybody together. This is where history was. This is what it was. This is what it can be. And we're optimistic. You know, are you with us or not? You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it, as well as just saying that to be unified, you can celebrate one another's differences. We don't have to be alike and think alike to be unified. And I think that's the second layer of it. It's like, we're all different. We all look different. We all have different experiences. We've had some successes and some failures, together, divided, but our differences is what makes us special. Just like your differences is what make you special. So to really be unified, you have to be understanding and accepting, even if you don't agree or don't like it. That's part of it. You can't be unified if that's not, you know, in the foundation. So.
No, that's great. No, it's really close to what I was going to say. It's just the idea of bringing everybody together through a message.
Yep.
Like what Paul said, you don't have to agree. You don't have to think alike. You can come from completely different backgrounds from everywhere around the world, but you're still unified under harmony or with harmony.
Right. Brings us together.
That's it. That's it. I mean, I think that for me, bringing everyone together with our music is probably one of the biggest things that I've wanted to do getting back in the barbershop is bring people together with music. I remember my first experience in barbershop and the people that I met and the friends that I've gained over the years. And I just feel like we have so much in common when we are together and when we sing together, when we're in the same area. So, you know, the love that we share with one another, you know, I want that to always radiate from us. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we divide ourselves and we don't need to be divided. Music brings us together all the time. So.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you.
You guys with these questions.
They're amazing.
Well, we've asked a few big questions now, but now it's time for the real blockbuster question. So I was looking at your website earlier, and you mentioned the amount of Caesar salads that Daniel eats, and your love of Panda Express. And I know Dan says he loves culinary arts. So how much of an impact has food had on your quartet, do you think?
Shit, there we go. Do what you like. I mean, can you tell?
Listen, food is a fundamental component of signature. There's rehearsing, competing, it's food as well.
Yeah, we always think about what we're going to eat.
A good meal, it's like we're walking to to get ready to compete for the first time. And we're like, where are we eating after this? We haven't even sung yet. Daniel's like, hey, Will, what are we eating after this?
And he's not even lying. I mean, for us, especially culturally, for the three of us, and now even with Dan too, breaking bread is big. You know,
Sharing that moment.
sharing that moment. It's there's nothing more intimate and more connecting than breaking bread together. You know, the conversations you have, the idea of the fellowship. You know, I mean, it's the same thing as the genre. I mean, what do you do after chorus rehearsal or after chapter rehearsal? You usually go out and get a pint. I see how I did that. You get a beer, or you go get some food, or both. You know, I mean, that's at the afterglow and the glimmer and the glitter and the sparkle and all the stuff that happens.
Shimmer.
The shimmer. Is that really one? I don't know. I don't know that one. Yeah, but it's big for us. It's big, absolutely.
I kind of asked that as kind of a semi kind of joke question, but once again, you guys amaze me with your brotherhood and togetherness, and it's really clear from speaking to you guys. I've only just met you all, how in tune you are with each other and just how good friends you are, and that's really coming across tonight. I think it really comes across on stage.
Brilliant. Okay, so you guys have become known for singing Barber soul music, and one of the performances that well and truly put you on the map is Dance with My Father from Las Vegas in 2017. This is an R&B song from Luther Vandross, a genre that we don't hear much in barbershop. Why do you think that is?
I mean,
Hey,
that's an easy answer. Where are the rest of us? Where are they?
I've answered it a couple times in my head, but you know,
I mean,
There ain't a whole lot of us.
the diplomatic answer is representation. I think, you know, there's a representation of all different communities. As the representation grows, I think the artistry will grow. You know, we'll have more artists that are cultivating in different genres and connecting to music on different levels. Like, for example, in our community in barbershop, there's a big culture that loves musical theater. I like musical theater also myself, right? And they want to hear songs that they see in the theater or that they see in musicals, for example. For us, you know, we want to see Boys to Men. We want to see acts that are up there that are ripping it, that we're just really enjoying, you know?
Yep.
And we started singing a lot of this music when we were younger. And we would do it even as if we did a barbershop show as in high school quartets, whatever.
Yeah, we would do like a more contemporary arrangement of some of those type of songs.
Yeah, and then we throw the Still of the Night in through something, and then back to a barbershop tune, for example. And then, you know, that was in the college contest. And then our brothers from New Zealand, Musical Island Boys, came out and they started doing their thing, you know, which also showed us a representation of, hey, we could be ourselves and sing that music, which is the music we connect to and the music from our communities.
Yep.
That's cool. And then from there, we're just like, all right, doors open.
let's do it.
Yep.
Here you go. You know, I mean, but I tell you this much. I mean, this kind of leads into debuting that type of music. You definitely don't know what the response is you're going to get coming back from, you know, the audience or just the people in general. So, you know, but you have to imagine growing up in this hobby and enjoying the music, but not being able to relate to it because you don't know it as well as some of the music that you just listen to all the time. So I tell you, it's been nice over the years to be able to sing the music that we've been able to present and be able to just be ourselves. Because I know people enjoying this music. If you're not, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, if you're not enjoying it, we are, because we're dancing while we're singing our own music.
Time,
You know what I mean?
you know?
So it's, and we got more coming. We got a lot more coming.
Oh yeah,
We got enough arrangements for the next 3 years. That's all I'm saying.
I think that just to add to that is that the audience, whether they are familiar with the song or not, what's great about music and our hobby in specific is the audience knows and feels authenticity. They recognize when the performance is real and they're wrapped up in it, even if sometimes they don't identify. Obviously, knowing the song or having an affinity for a particular song helps that connection. But I think with us and a lot of the stuff we sing, even though we try to sing is the more popular of that genre, you know, when it's real and genuine, they connect to it even when they don't know, which is a really cool thing about music. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. This sort of touches on a little bit about what you were saying then as well. So going back to that performance of Dance with My Father, it was arguably not the song choice but the way you performed it that made it so memorable. It is probably one of the most emotionally vulnerable performances we have ever seen in the barbershop world. How much of that emotion was genuine, and how did you bring it to the contest stage?
All of it was genuine. The whole, every bit of it. I mean, from learning the notes on the paper to taking that and turning it into music, to understanding what we were singing about, to internalizing it. You know, the whole thing was genuine. You know, do you have to experience something for it to actually be genuine? I don't know. I think having an understanding of it and being able to put yourself in a position makes you
Go that line.
Right, be able to cross that line. And I think for me, that's because, I mean, my father's alive. You know, I'm still blessed to have a father, you know, and I also have a mother that's here. But, you know, just thinking about that makes me so.
For me, it was, I connected to losing my grandmother. It was recent. I just missed her, and that's how I connected. Not my dad directly, but it was definitely a loved one that I lost and I did miss. So that song, I think for all of us, that song just means so much. We heard it growing up, and that's something that you can't replicate.
Yeah, I mean, when that song came out, I was going from 8th grade to 9th grade. I was a freshman in high school. No, I was not.
You were in high school.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Sorry, because I'm younger than him. I'm trying to remember. And I'm estranged from my father. Yeah, my father was there, but he was never there, right? So the song for me is a connection to my mother. And I'm thinking of my mother and thinking if I had an opportunity to plead to God to give her a moment of happiness, how much I would do in order to give her that gift, right? Because of what she's done for me in my life. So that was the connection for me. And you know, we had all gotten emotional and broken down, whether it was at a coaching session or backstage. Our coach even broke down a few different times, George Gipp. I mean, literally in tears, telling us an intimate story about his mother and his father, you know, and there was just a lot of emotion surrounded by that. You know, we did have a discussion before, hey, listen, you know, let's try to stay composed. We know where the line is, let's not go too far. And if we do, then let's just try to stay together in the moment, because it's hard to be vulnerable and intimate in that moment. You know, there were so many people in that audience, but it felt like we were alone in this big dark place. Couldn't hear a freaking peep, you know, and it was a lot, you know. And a lot of people ask me, for example, oh, when you turned to Daniel, it seemed like, you know, that was staged. And I was like, no, it wasn't. That was literal angst and support for a friend. And I'm just like, okay, he's crying. What the hell's going on? It wasn't about the performance in that moment. Were we able to recover? Yeah, but I didn't know if we were going to.
Yeah, but I tell you, I appreciate you doing that, because, you know, there was a moment that I got, you know, I was there, and I think I enjoyed that moment so much because I think I got to share with everybody. We all shared that moment, but, you know, I knew it wasn't staged, because when you came to me, I was like, I gotta get back in this. I was like,
I suppose I was always a baritone.
I was like,
in the tenor spot, I said to him, I go, Daniel, I love you, brother. I whispered to him, I'm here, but just in case you need it, here's the bitch.
But you know, I mean, but you know, like I said, like, it's moments that happen, and the moment for me, I will never forget that moment. You know what I mean?
Never.
You know,
Neither will I.
Yeah,
you were an audience member.
You were an audience member for that, weren't you?
I was like, I'm going back to Florida. This is over. I will say this, having been a competitor and then being inside it and singing with some pretty successful quartets, there's a difference when a quartet is there and they are in this, as Scott Kitzmiller would say, they're just being. That's what this quartet does. That's one of the
I think a
biggest
lot of
things
people say that. Theo said trust each other and just be in the moment.
Correct.
Richard Llewellyn has said the same thing, just be.
Correct.
You know, you don't have to be anything more.
But from my perspective of being a competitor and then being like, it's just not easy to do. You know, these guys are really fearless. I've learned a lot from them about performance. So
we learned a lot from you, Paul.
Your connection is amazing, guys. I mean, it is coming off the screen in waves, the connection you have as a quartet. So thank you very much for being so honest about your experience with that song.
Yeah, and you mentioned unity and harmony, and I suppose sadly one of the things that does unite everyone in the world is suffering from bereavement, and that. But I think so many people could share in that emotion because we've all suffered from it, or will have to suffer from it in our life, sadly. And it's a unifying thing again. And you mentioned unity and harmony. So yeah, and that might be the answer to the next question as well on the jump that you made. It might be your honesty in your performance, because between 2015 and 2016, I think you jumped from 15th place up to 4th place. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
That's correct.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask what happened, what changed in that year to make that huge jump in placement?
I was born by the river.
We picked our own songs. We had our first song arranged for us.
Yeah.
Came in 15th, and everybody's like, "Oh, you guys got a great sound. You got to stop singing other people's stuff." And we said, "Okay, we'll be back." And we found a young arranger that was arranging for a lot of other quartets. You know, a brilliant dude, Patrick McAlexander, said, "Hey, man, we have an idea, and this is a song we want to sing. We think it's important right now." And he said, "Man, I'll take a stab at it," and he did, and he killed it. And the night before we sang that song, I put stank on it, you know. The night before we sang that song, sorry, diction is done with the tip of the tongue. So the night before we sang that song, there was a march for social justice outside of a restaurant that Daniel and I were at. And we stopped our meal, we walked outside, and we stood on the corner, and over 3,000 people marched in front of us, and him and I stood next to each other, we hugged, and we cried. That was very powerful. And we cried. And it just set up the next day. You know, there was something, the song was a lot of fun to sing, and yes, we were connecting to it, but there was something about that night and the next day when we sang it that was special. Yeah, you know. Daniel sang to the rafters that day. I mean, it was just like ridiculous.
I was there also.
But that was also. You were also there.
Yeah, also I said, I'm going back to my auditions now.
That was also that feeling about going out, just doing our own music, because not only did we have Change That Come, but we had Friends, we had Somebody to Love.
Right, we sang At Last, and we sang Drown in My Own Tears, all songs that were just like, okay.
It was just new music.
There was a couple arrangements out there, Clay Hine At Last, and then Drown in My Own Tears, Mark Hale, and a couple songs were just like, okay, we can dig this, and then Change Is Gonna Come, and then, you know, the help of my friends, Somebody to Love, and it was just like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. We didn't have our final set even that well learned, which is evident by the videos.
The fun thing, we were so, when we found out we made it in the 10 that year.
Oh man,
no.
We didn't even care. We were just like, oh well.
We just wanted to make the 10.
We were so happy.
That was great. Oh man.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. Okay, so well, tell us about your plans for the future then. Will you continue to advocate for higher levels of equality and diversity in the barbershop world? And what about youth in barbershop? Have you got any more plans for that area as well?
Well,
but I know.
I mean,
we got a couple videos coming out.
Yeah.
We're definitely.
Truthfully, I don't think that we've gotten as much, you know, contact with the powers that be about helping really affect change. There has been some, but you know, we're definitely here. We're going to continue to make the music we make, speak our truth, and if it is meaningful to people and it creates that sense of inclusion, then you know we're here for it. But you know, like we said, we're here to do anything we can. So
yeah, I think for now, and just like we talked about the Suntones and all the other quartets that came before us, yeah, we want to go metal, but it's about the life's work, and for us, paying it forward, and the way we can do that is by being ourselves, connecting through people through our music, and really being fearless in our approach when it comes to unity, and it comes to inclusion, and it comes to representation of communities. And we could do that through our music, we could do that through youth outreach, and any other forms that we get. As long as we have this platform,
we'll make the most of what we have as a platform, or whatever we can be a part.
Very true.
Yes, absolutely.
Great,
Awesome.
thank you.
If you want to bring us over, you know.
That's
we'll-
what I was
we'll
about
be
to say.
ready.
Whenever you're ready.
We've
work on
gotten
it.
all the hints, I promise. I promise.
Okay.
But we've taken them all.
Trying to put a plug in there. I didn't know if you got it. I was just making sure.
I think it's time that we watch another performance from you guys, and then we've had loads of questions coming in on the YouTube chat and things like that. So then we'll go to some questions from the public as well. So this is a performance from the film The Bodyguard of I Have Nothing. Is there anything you want to say about this performance, just while I cue it up for you?
We miss you, Whitney.
Cool. Right. Here we go.
Share my life, take me for what I am, 'cause I'll never change all my colors for you, You can just take my love, I'll never ask for too much, just all that you are and everything that you do. Oh, I don't really need to look very much further. I have to go where you don't follow. I won't hold it back again. This passion inside can't run from myself. There's nowhere to hide. Must I imagine you there? Don't walk away, don't walk away. I have nothing, nothing, nothing. I don't have you. Yes, you see right through, right to the heart of me. Oh, and you break down my walls with the strength of your love. And I never knew love like I've known it with you. Will the memory survive? Further, I don't wanna have to go where you don't follow. I won't hold it back again. This passion inside can't run from myself. There's nowhere to hide. Da-da, 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 forever. Don't make me close one more door. Away, oh, don't you know? Don't walk away from me. Don't you dare walk away from me. I have nothing, nothing, nothing. Nothing. if I don't have you, if I don't have you, if I don't have
Righteous.
Absolutely fantastic. Beautiful. Okay, so as Alan said, we're going to open up the questions now to the public, and we have had some great ones coming in. So Martin Baglow, the current chairman of BABS, has asked, what was your reaction to receiving the invitation to perform in Bristol, UK? What are your memories of the trip?
Oh,
Bristol was such a life-changing experience for us because, you know, I think one of the big proponents of us coming over there was a friend of ours, Brian Fox, from here in the States. And Brian's like, I want to get you guys up here. This has never been done. It's for a chapter show for the weekends. Come up to Bristol. We'll have a good time. And we had a blast. Blast.
I don't remember the first day.
All of it.
I remember.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of alcohol involved too. It was not.
Took us to a few pubs. So
It took us to a few pubs, and it was just a life-changing experience for us. You know, our friends, hello, we love you. You know who you are. But it was just such a great experience culturally. Obviously it felt foreign because it was a different place for us, right?
And they drove on the other side of the road.
Oh yeah, listen, come on, please. That was traumatic in itself. Okay, driving on the other side of the road.
That was your first international flight too.
That was my first international flight.
Over the ocean.
I slept every single hour of it. Not a second. I woke up when we landed.
No, you slept. That's Australia.
No, that was Australia too. Yes.
You know, if you don't have a buzzer like they do in the Oscars, we'll answer one question tonight. I just want you to know. You might have to give us a.
It's fine. The evening's about you guys. It's not about me and Shanna. So we're happy just to hang out and hear you talk.
It was a blast, but it was too short. Bring us back. That's all we have to say.
Sure. Okay. We'll work on that for you. Hey,
Absolutely.
if any other BABS clubs are watching, which I know there are, then by all means, clubs, you could bring them out for a show, and then we'll look as well for a BABS convention.
We need him. He hasn't been out with us yet. So.
Or how about we just meet in the middle? We just do this big shindig. Everybody come together.
On the
Let's all get together.
on a boat.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Or Bermuda. Or
Sounds
something.
good.
So let's go, baby. We're ready. I already got there you go. You just
Barbara Babs.
Barbara Babs.
Sounds good. We've mentioned her son, but Anne McAlexander would like to know, when did you realise that being champions was a possibility? What has been your biggest push as a quartet? So when did you think the championship we could do this? We could go all the way.
I suppose after we sang Change for the first time was probably my first time where I said, that felt good. You know, the audience seemed to enjoy it. There was a genuine connection there. We were on cloud nine, felt fantastic. After that, I was just like, well, maybe we're a little bit better than I thought. Well, we'll see what happens. And I think that's where we started to even work even harder because, you know, they give us a lot of feedback on, they're like, there is something there, it's intangible, but you guys got a lot of work to do. So.
Yeah.
And a lot of outside people kept telling us, you guys got something special. You need to keep going, keep pushing. Try this, work on this. Don't stop looking to the next step. And I mean, that's what did it for me personally. They just kept telling us you have something special.
No, it's true. You just got to work hard to get there, I tell you. Because getting to that point of feeling like, or knowing you can possibly win is one thing, but actually getting there.
That's a whole.
It takes a mindset to even think that you could be a champion, for example, and then it takes a whole other mindset to get over the hump, you know. And you have to in the face of adversity, you have to be willing to dust yourself off, stand back up, and keep moving forward. And we had to dust ourselves off twice thanks to Main Street and After Hours. So plug to those guys and how amazing they are. And we don't really like you too much for being so good.
At all.
Thank you.
Still love you.
Still love you, but we don't like you.
Yeah, I think
It worked out the way it's supposed to. Then we got Paul. It was just the journey was what it was supposed to be, and that's what all of our coaches, Gene specifically, and Bob also said, and Gibb said, just enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. It goes by so fast, So, and it did. It did.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We talked to Midtown a few nights ago.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. The guys with the really tight pants. We know who they are. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that they said was, we discussed was to be successful requires a bit of talent, but then a lot of hard work. And you guys have practically said the same thing there as well, and just the work that you had to put in to get there. So
yeah, but they have less talent, so they have a lot more work to do.
Wow.
No,
I hope they're watching this. I hope Christian. How about now, Christian? No, they're coming out with that. You got to bring them down a little bit because those guys are like coming out with an album every other month and videos and all that stuff. Nobody can catch up. Yeah, you know what I mean? We can't catch up with these guys. These young guys. No, I mean they're super talented and they're just doing such great things. Our brothers are doing such great things to help propel the genre forward. With all the stuff that they're doing virtually, and it's really a pleasure. And that's why we're trying to catch up. Because these guys taking over all the limelight. They ain't leaving nothing for nobody. So we got to catch them. KJ, stop! I'm gonna break your computer. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Anne had a second part to that question, was what has been your biggest rush as a quartet other than winning the international championship, that is?
Biggest rush?
I don't think we rushed to win though.
no. You mean like the
the highest great feeling, what do you have enjoyed the most, I suppose?
For me, the biggest rush was getting called in the top 10 that year.
Yeah.
It was, I remember we were all scattered throughout the whole auditorium. Oh my, that was us. Like, we freaked out. It was just an incredible moment.
No, being called first was pretty much the greatest thing of all time.
No, we know you're not gonna lie.
They're all hugging up like,
gone.
I gotta jump on stage. See ya.
I can watch the video. Paul did a roundhouse kick, jump in the air, and chopped the air, and said, "I'm here," and we're still backstage. The whole thing. And
I say, keep the whole world singing. Y'all still didn't come out here.
I turned around and hugged Paul, and Paul was gone, and then I hugged Dan. Daniel was gone, and Dan were hugging. I turned to Gibb because I didn't have anybody left.
Me and Dan tried to hug.
We tried.
We were like dumbwaits.
It was so weird.
So
I watched that video.
Man, it was funny.
The biggest rush for me has to be, it's always been something in the finals, but I think this last year singing in the finals for the first time, especially opening up with I Have Nothing, it's just a different experience. The lights are dim, how many people are there because it's you've sung in 2 different rounds now. You're in the finals, you're like, everybody who's everybody is here. And you blow the pitch and you get to that mic and you can hear pin drop also. And
It's
I
amazing.
think that's a huge rush for me every time. And singing baritone for my first time this year, last year, 19, was a lot. So that was definitely the biggest rush for me.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you.
That's good. Next question. We'll keep going.
I do remember I was watching the webcast when you guys won and seeing the 4 of your faces when you were announced, but especially Paul's, like you described. It was just clearly the amount of work and lead up to it and anxiety was just so clear on your face and your body language, all 4 of you. But especially Paul's, it was just clear how much it meant to you.
There was a lot of negativity thrown our way that year, and we decided to just get closer than ever and just work hard and work hard and work hard. And when you put yourself out there and you give it your all, by the time we were done Sunday, I was done. Saturday night, I was done.
But it's not just the year we put in or 10 months.
Yeah.
It's 20 years of barbershop.
Yeah.
And that first moment when you look and say, I want to be that.
Yeah.
I want to be that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you sing the Tony DeRosas and the Joe Connollys and the vocal spectrums
Yeah.
and all these fantastic quartets, the best of all time, and you look at them and they're bigger than life. You know, they're like giants. And you're looking at them, you're like, I want to be a giant when I grow up. You know, that's literally how it feels.
But we are giants.
Yeah, we are giants now, but in a different way, you know. That's all it is.
Awesome. A question from Ethan has come in. Was the repertoire change when Paul joined? Was that because of Paul, or was it just kind of a coincidence that you were getting arrangements for yourself? Yeah.
No, we have
A lot of those arrangements were already coming in, were already commissioned, and Paul just stepped into an opportunity to sing all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, we had Colquitt Miller, we had Brian Mastro, Theo Hicks, Patrick McAlexander.
I barber sold it up just a little bit more. I just turned it out. Yeah, it's just the right amount. That's all. I mean,
The music was already there. It was already on its way. He's like, oh, I get to sing this. This is fantastic. Because he was, you know, singing honky tonk music and other stuff before that. Okay.
all right.
Were you not?
This is like
6 o'clock this afternoon, my baby, isn't that? And I was singing, think about what you're trying to do to me. All right. Am I lying though? Okay. You know what I mean? It's you felt at home, did you not? Well, you know.
I mean, I definitely like the bop more than I like to honky. You're right.
Okay. So then, why would you even say anything
All
different?
right, fine.
We fight even when we're in violent agreement and we still argue. How does that happen?
Just to explain for those who don't know, Paul before Signature sang with another great quartet called Throwback, who were known for doing lots of kind of country and western honky tonk kind of songs. So just to explain for the viewers at home who maybe haven't seen Throwback, that's what that reference was to. It wasn't just being horrible.
Yeah,
to your friend.
honky tonk, it's a real word. I didn't make it up.
Yeah, we're gonna move. Yeah, we're gonna.
Next question.
Next question.
Okay, you've answered this a little bit already with your other questions, but just in case they missed it. So Carol Hale has asked, which quartet or quartets did you look up to while making your way to the top?
Any quartet that was unapologetically themselves, right? Whether it was the Suntones, Vocal Spectrum, I'm going to say Real Time, I'm going to say OC Times, I'm going to say
Gas House Gang.
Max Q.
Yeah, Gas House
Come
Gang
on,
for me.
Platinum, Keepsake, Gas House Gang. I mean, we can continue. Do you want us to keep Nightlife? Do you want us to keep, we can keep going? You know, there's so many great quartets who just did what they were, you know, and we looked at that as an opportunity as we started to evolve to say, hey, well, we got a little niche here that we can sing. Maybe let's try this on, you know. So that's it for me. I named a lot of them. You have any?
I think there's any left. Yeah, the name. My first experience in
obviously I'd be remiss if I don't say Heat. I mean, obviously Heat.
Wow.
Right, you know, Paul Scholars Quartet.
No, but my first was at Four Voices. I mean, that was really that was just big for me in Montreal. What they did, and you know, seeing how big their quartet was.
But Lazy Bones, hearing Lazy Bones
yeah.
in contest live for the first time, it's like
that was I remember
Lazy
that.
Bones.
I remember that.
Is there?
Look at them laying there. Look
Yeah.
at them laying there. Yeah.
It was just they had a swagger about them, something new, something fresh. So yeah.
Did you just say Brandon Guyton has swagger?
I mean, he does.
No.
I mean,
Chad had the swagger.
Chad has the
Let's keep
swagger.
it here.
Okay.
Not Brandon.
Brandon was just he was the loud one. That's all.
Okay. Fine. Love you.
And we've talked a lot about your successes tonight, but Gary Curlew has asked, what's been your biggest challenge, either barbershop or musically? What have you found the most challenging to overcome?
The switch.
I mean, yeah.
Just the year between international and
That decision for Will to go to baritone and for me to leave Throwback and join Signature, and with the expectation and pressure of, you know, being in top level groups, and you know, it's kind of it obviously was talked about a lot, and you know, putting your reputation out there as well, like, you know, we're going to go out here. So that challenge of really trying to block that out and just make music, you know, because at the end of the day, that's what defines a champion. Well, that's just what defines our art form is, you know, the highest quality art we can make. So that was
And
a
then
big,
even to piggyback off of that, not only the change, but like the change in structure, right? So like in the original signature, there was a bass with a lot of foundation and a baritone that helped create a sound. And then Daniel and I kind of played off each other, right? In this foursome, not only did we have to switch parts and find our unit sound, but then it was like, well, I still want to create musically. I know that Paul's going to be doing his thing. You know, there's a way for us three to play off each other while Dan gives a foundation, and then Dan to come in musically and kind of riff off each other. And then when there's time for Dan and I to be in the sound, for example, you know, there was a lot of just figuring out, hey, when can we style it up and when do we need to come to center? You know what I mean? Those types of things. Look, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing all of this, you know?
Fantastic. Okay, John Phillips.
Then I went right to see, that's what I mean.
Okay. So we touched obviously on your phenomenal performance of Dance with My Father, but John Phillips would like to know, you guys are obviously able to sing with such control while delivering such emotive performances. Do you have any tips on how to do this?
Keep breathing.
Yeah. Just a lot of rehearsal, like a lot of time singing together and getting it to that line. I mean, that's really it.
Yeah.
If we didn't get there in rehearsal, we wouldn't be able to do it on stage.
right. It really is about trying to get to that consistent level so that when you're in front, you're performing, you're not thinking about the technique, you're thinking about the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting enough because the quartets that are rewarded for being consistent and doing the exact same thing at the exact same time and always doing that is what's rewarded in our style. But at the same time with music, being creative is that doing something different and having some of that freshness each time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the cool things about what Signature does, and finding that is a challenge, you know, being able to have that balance of technique and lock and ring, but let's
like
play.
giving the individual voices an opportunity to play
Right.
stylistically, but then always come back to center. Like know when you have to hit your spot, know when you have to be there. I know I'm Latin, I speak with my hands. Stop laughing at me. I can't help it. You know, it just know when you have to come back to center. You know, and
Did you over-exaggerate?
I did, yeah, I did. Yeah. So and the great King Pocroft, the great Tony DeRosa, the great Joe Conley, the great George Gibb,
Gambino.
all of them
All
will
of
tell you, breathe well and breathe often.
Yeah.
You know, breast support's a big one, especially when it comes to the foundation of the sound. You know, be okay with changing up the lyrical arc and the intent in order for you to make sure you have enough breath to get through it. You know, that definitely is helpful for us because we do a lot of extracurricular stuff and we're out of breath. See, like, right, I had to breathe, you know, see quick, you didn't catch it though because I've been working. I've been working on it. You know what I mean? That's what I do.
Okay, shall we move on to the next question?
Come here.
So, there's not many more questions now. There's one that's really going to put you on the spot.
Everybody left because they're like,
They're like,
stay forever. Questions, 20 minutes.
We've got a few different guys from Manchester and from Telford begging you to come and sing for them over in the UK. So it's hopefully that will happen soon because I'd love to come and be able to see you guys live, and I'm sure many other people over here would as well. There's a question that's come in that might put you on the spot. Feel free to say yes or no. But Tyler has asked, would it be possible to hear a tag from you sung live? What do you think, guys?
Well, it depends. Who's Tyler? No, just joking. I don't know if it was like Tyler Rackley. I wanted to know who it was. What if it's, you know, some guy Tyler that's not really nice to us? You know?
Tyler Collins. I don't recognize the name, but yeah.
Sure. All right. Just, we're gonna do.
Thanks, guys. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, we know it has.
We'll stand right behind you.
Let's get into it. Key
Yeah.
hard times?
What you say we do?
Just a tag hard times?
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's good.
From where?
We'll do more than one. If it's not good enough, we'll do it one more time. Then, from that part.
Right?
You go up.
I don't know what key that's in.
That one.
That ain't it.
Yeah, it was.
That is.
Okay. Then no more.
Hard times, hard times. Who knows better than us? Oh, tell you, brother, there isn't a those bottoms who knows better than I. Oh, my Lord, who knows better than
Thank you.
Phenomenal. Thank you
I think
so
the
much.
microphone struggled with Dan there a little bit. Yeah.
That was amazing though. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. Right, well, before we say our goodbyes, shall we watch one more video of you guys doing your thing? I think that would be a good thing. So we've talked a lot about influential artists and artists that have influenced you tonight, and here's none other than Aretha Franklin's and Aretha Franklin songs. So think, guys, is there anything else you'd like to say about this song or the legend that is Aretha before I play the video?
Keep doing what you're doing. Be who you are. Sing the music. Sing what you feel. Let the music be the guide.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was good. Hear from the heart. If it must be real. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I can't see. You see him? That's why we don't let him out. Go.
Okay, then here's you guys performing thing. Hey, we're going to come back after this video and say our goodbyes properly. So I just thought we'd before we finish, let's just watch this. So we'll speak to you again in a couple of minutes.
Let's do the
I need you, babe, but I can't be free. So listen now, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Hear my final plea. Listen to me now, right now. So you better think about what you're trying to do to me. Think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. So let's go back, let's go way on, way back. I didn't even know you could have been too much more than 10. Oh yeah, I ain't no psychiatrist, I ain't no doctor with degrees, but it don't take too much IQ to see what you do to me. Think about what you're trying to do to me. Yeah, think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. Oh, freedom, gotta have that freedom. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. T-C-T. Think about what you try to do to me. Better think.
Let your mind go, let yourself be free. People walking around every day,
Playing games to take its course. Trying to make other people lose their minds. Be careful, you're gonna lose yours. Think about it, forgiveness. Be about it, forgiveness, freedom. Yeah, freedom. 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 Give me some of that freedom. Yeah, freedom. Just a little bit, can't you give me just a little bit, baby? Just a little respect.
We were just jamming out over here.
When can you dance a cappella music like that?
Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Well, that is sadly the end of our time with you this evening. So thank you all in the audience for joining us this evening, and thank you so much to you, Signature, for joining us and having this great chat with us.
Thank you.
Thank you
guys.
for having us.
Thanks for having us. We hope it inspired some young people tonight, and if it didn't, we hope to do so in the future. So just bring us back to BABS, and we'll see you soon. Plug one more time, guys. Come on.
I think we've got to about 6. I think you did well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add my thanks as well. I mean, we talked about unity and harmony earlier, and what's come across to me so clearly is how the 4 of you are just so unified in everything that you do together. It just very clearly comes across how good friends you are, how solid you are, and obviously what a great quartet you are. So thank you on behalf of all of us in BABS for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. It's been a
Be
blast.
well. We hope we get to sing together soon. So.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
we do
We're
too.
all singing.
That's
Unity
7.
and harmony. 7. What was the 7?
No, that was.
I
that's
know.
for them to get back together.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Is
Thank
there anything
you.
you'd like to say to your friends, family, and fans before we say goodnight? Or have you
We
said
love
anything?
you all. A lot of people in Australia because we were just over there. So we love you all. It's good to see you all if you all are still up watching. And we definitely
Back to your home.
Yeah, and back at home too. I mean, I saw online. It looks like Emmett Alexander was writing stuff and whatnot. But
Amick Alexander, just celebrating my wife. Yeah, I mean, just thanks to all our family for all the support and still letting us or giving us the opportunity to be together and,
Yeah,
and find
together,
ways to
continue
sing.
do
And
this.
even during Corona, it's been definitely trying, but we're still trying to get together and put stuff out, and it's been a lot of fun. At least just a welcome distraction. So
Awesome.
Great.
Well,
Thank you.
that is everything. Thank you very much, guys. You
Yeah,
take
take
care.
care.
All the best, and definitely see you soon.
yes.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Great.